Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Local background in there.
Let me also say to you, on the eve of both of our on your 30th wedding anniversary and my 29th wedding anniversary, right?
Yeah.
What we also have to do, Don Howard, we have to go back to the future. We have to go back and tell and show we found the same thing that Moses found in Zipporah in our brides 30
Right.
years ago. And we have been inspired, and we are realizing this is what God revealed to me. Oakwood and Pine Forge are the places. Remember, God told Abraham to send his son to go find these brides of the covenant. God had them always by very specific rivers. The same rivers where he created Eve at. If you look at, there's a map in the word where Jacob went to, where Abraham sent Isaac to. He kept sending them up by the Jordan River, bro. Because that's where God created Eve at. Genesis 2. Right? These women, you can't find these women anywhere.
So what are you saying we need to do?
We need to let the people know that when we went to Oakwood, we wasn't going to Oakwood for no education. We was going to Oakwood just like Abraham was sending his child to go find one of these women, because there is no fruitfulness, Don, without these women.
Right.
Whatever seed we have and whatever profession we engage in, if we don't have the women of the covenant that are looking forward to fulfilling that covenant with God, bro, it don't matter what we do.
Right.
You understand? And that's the thing that people not saying. That's the thing that, you know what I'm saying? People have turned Oakwood and Pine Forge and all that to just another run-of-the-mill educational institution. To heck with that. You know what I'm saying? We were sent down there to find Lois and Kanisha and then give birth to Barrington and Bradley and all of my children, and then give them back to God. That is the everlasting gospel and the covenant, and that was our purpose.
Right.
You understand? And so then now we also are telling the people. God told me to tell the people. This is just halftime. To show and prove, you got to have two witnesses, right? You have to, for anything to be law, anything to be truth, you got to have two witnesses. You know what I'm saying? Revelation 20 says you must do it again. Revelation 10. You got to do it again. Right? So while the rest of the world looks like they are going to go through the plagues, right? And then end up in the judgment, we are about to, with our children, because he said, occupy dominion until I come. Occupy fruit. This is a commandment, bro. Occupy until I crack the sky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
So
you're basically saying in a nutshell, we went down there to get Lois and Kanisha and have children and give them back to God.
And it's a cycle, though. So now our children, we're giving our children the same exact things so that Xavier and them, when they start in their family, when Barrington and Brantley are starting their family, they gonna find their Lois. Xavier's gonna find his Kanisha, and they repeat it, and then God is going to come back, and then that is the group that goes to the wedding feast. That is the group that goes to the 1,000-year millennium. And it is a wedding feast, bro. So we are wedding feast preppers, is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
And I'm saying what we did was we created a married couples group. Your investment in me was concerned for my marriage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We started grinding and feeding and giving, you know what I'm saying, following y'all to give out food when we was just dating and all of that. But once you saw, boy, you done started your family and you working over there and you working over here and you full load in school and she full load in school, you was like, boy, take this take this business to remove the load so that you can invest in the fruitfulness of that relationship.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what's not being taught, bro. People tell people to go out here and get a job, get this, that. You told me, bro, your marriage is going to suffer, and that's the most important thing. Nobody tells people that, and that's what my mom loved about. When I told her what you did and gave me, right? I told you how my mom responded. I told you how I was like, Mom, ain't nobody coming and you know what I'm saying, putting people on. Like, he just put me on. He gave me half the bit. She said, I know ain't nobody do it. Now you give it to him.
Right.
That is our whole purpose, yo. You removed obstacles, financial obstacles and burdens, because the number one destroyer of family is finances. I wasn't down there at Oakwood to get no degree. I was down there to get my bride, and then God showed you, yo, this family will not make it if they follow the world's traditional chase this degree, chase da. And I owe everything that I did in ministry from that day to this, you know what I'm saying, to that investment, bro. All right. And so I'm doing a married couples conference and I'm doing a married couples conference and PhD on the principles and the philosophy behind what you and Lo, how y'all analyzed our relationship and what was going on and what you gave us, and then turned us loose. And then my mom's response and how she went in the Word of God and showed me that that is the everlasting covenant. And I'm turning it into a course, and then we gonna turn it into to the public and say, if you want this, because what you got going on down there in St. Pete, feeding for 2 years out your pocket, Don, I'm about to take this married couple group and allow individuals to join us, and we are going to take the profits and the proceeds, and we're going to make every single family that's in that was displaced in those disaster FEMA hotels in St. Pete, we're going to make each one of them whole like you made me and Kanisha whole. That's the commitment.
Hold up a second, man. Hold up. Go ahead, Dan.
I said, just the same investment you made in us, we going to turn around and take every one of those families, D. This is our way of saying thank you. All of the proceeds from this couples group that we're about to do, because I'm going to take the principles that we learned, and God has given me a PhD. There is a PhD on the husbandman and the bride based off of what you and Lois did. I'm talking about the husbandman and the bride in heaven, based off of what you did to us here on earth at Oakwood. There is a PhD course, and y'all were led by the Holy Spirit to give us exactly what God When he said, husbands, love your wives as I have loved, that is what you was telling me, D. But you didn't even realize it, man. But God has fleshed this thing out. And we about to ask any women who want the polishing that you have been providing as the husbandman in your family, right? Still serving God for 30 years under the radar, D. That's why I called you 3 years ago, 4 years ago, D.
Right.
Because you was still polishing. You was still feeding. You was still raising your boys 30 years later, and you still was hustling for God. Just like Paul was, bro. Paul was a tent maker. D, you have lived the gospel, D.
Right.
So, because of that, what I'm telling you is God is telling me to say, now it's time to come back and say, well done, my good and faithful, right? And what you've done, God is going to allow us to industrialize it and say, anybody that wants this type of relationship, come. We got a course, we got a school, we got a wedding party that you can join, and we're going to make sure that your family got these same principles, and we're going to do it to the least of these, our brethren and sisterin,
Right.
who don't have nothing. And you know we got 500 families right there in that hotel, and we starting with them.
Right.
All right? So,
Yes.
next week, Wednesday, I've reserved a facility here in Orlando, Florida. And for a whole week, we're going to allow individuals to come and get to register to come and get a makeover. Okay?
Okay.
And we're going to also allow individuals all around the country to join our group in this same week. And when they join this week, we'll put their city and their town on the calendar. So after we do our launch here in Orlando next week.
Okay, you said you reserved the facility. It's already paid for?
No.
What do you mean?
When the people pay, so I'm going to create a link, right? And they can pay to join our group. There's a registration fee, all right? $160. $160 per person to join a married couple. And we have over 40 individuals who are 50 and been married for 30 plus years. I got 20 aunts and uncles in that 40. You understand?
Yeah.
And I'm taking all of the jewels and nuggets from what you did with me, and when my mom and those elders helped steer me and Kanisha all of this time. And we're going to give it to the people. And if they want to join a married group with people who are 50 and got 30 plus years of marriage, I don't think there's any other group like this anywhere on earth. You heard that?
Yeah. Well, I've seen some things on Facebook where, they were celebrating couples that were married X amount of years, but I don't know if they're a group. I think they just did it, for Facebook.
Hey, Don.
But I think that's a great idea.
And how many of them have also put in the amount of service that you put in and that we've all put in? Because when you turned me on, I went to Chicago and we went to my wife's childhood church, and there.
Do something with your mic? With your phone?
No, why it sound lower?
Yeah.
I don't know. No. But we started
Go ahead.
the same
Wait a minute.
the same environment. Remember how we was coming to your house every Friday and we was eating, and every Friday we was fellowshipping?
I was doing that here in Florida.
I know. And we did that same thing in Chicago, bro. We had like 15, 16 couples, bro.
I missed that. I missed that.
Every Friday, we would all get together at a house.
We were doing it every Sabbath in Florida.
We was doing Friday and Saturday. And we was Friday night, we was getting together after church. Then Saturday nights, we had a youth basketball league that we was in. And then we went and adopted the shorties. And I taught them I taught 8 shorties your dry washing guard. And we turned them into 2 basketball teams. Son, we got individuals to come to church from giving them the dry washing guard business that you gave us to help save our marriage, bro. You understand? We turned everything that y'all was doing into a ministry called the Good Samaritans, bro.
Wow.
And then the break the cycle movement that I have now, that all came out of you putting dry wash in my hand 30 years ago, bro.
Wow.
From dry wash to break the cycle.
It's amazing.
And so I'm going to do it again. We're going to do it together again. Now my children are contemplating marriage, right?
Right.
And so we got to keep it that my mom told me before she passed away. She said, stick to the script. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we're gonna go back to the drawing board. We're gonna stick to the script. All right? All right, bro.
All right, man. Thanks, man, for calling, man.
Yes, man. Love you, man.
So I'm gonna go. Love you too. Look, I'm gonna go through this thing, and I'm gonna just put some pins in different places, and then we're gonna just politic again. All right?
Sounds good.
All right.
All right, bro. Good night.
All right. Bye-bye.